Addiction, what is it? Well, addiction is what occurs when you consume alcohol or drugs for a period of time until you lose control over how much you take. It is considered a brain disease because consuming these substances removes your natural ability to produce dopamine, which is what brings pleasure and happiness. Without natural dopamine, a person has to continue taking drugs or alcohol in order to be happy because those substances produce dopamine as well. This is what modifies brain chemistry and gives you the feeling to want more. Causes of addiction. There are a few different ways that may increase the risk of becoming an addict. These include family history of addiction, early use of drugs, abuse and other traumatic experiences, social environment, and mental disorders like anxiety or depression. Family history and your genes may put you more at risk if one or both of your parents are addicts. An example of this is described in the short story A Drinking Life by Pete Hamill. Pete has been an alcoholic for several years. He decides that drinking is not the best idea for him and takes an approach to quit. Later, he tells the audience that his family is full of alcoholics and explains his reasoning behind quitting. He says, "Someone among the males of this family had to break the pattern. It might as well be me." Pete may have become an alcoholic due to his family trend. According to the HBO website, the children of alcoholic parents are 4 times more likely to become addicted themselves. This had some contribution to Pete's past addiction in his short story.
Starting to use drugs and alcohol at an early age has an effect on later addiction. In Bringing Belle Home by Bonnie Campbell, Belle began using drugs at the age of 14. Years later, she begins to drink alcohol and is completely addicted to both drugs and alcohol. Because the brain is not yet fully developed during childhood and teen years, a person is more likely to become addicted if they start taking a substance at an early age. HBO says that between curiousness and the lack of self-control due to immature and developing brains, a child will start a substance and not be able to stop. Childhood abuse will cause a person to turn to substances in order to escape the horrific nightmare of their past, according to HBO. Also in this story, Bringing Belle Home, Belle was abused by her own father, who was under the influence of alcohol almost always. Once every week or two, he lost his temper and wailed on her, broke her rib once, knocked a tooth loose another time. Belle was traumatized by this, and the abuse had some effect on her use of alcohol and drugs in her future, along with her early use from before. If someone is constantly around other addicts, they may soon be peer pressured into becoming an addict themselves. In the fictitious story Sonny's Blues by James Baldwin, Sonny starts a career in music and realizes that all the other musicians are on drugs. They say that they have to be on drugs in order to handle the idea of performing. Sonny joins them and begins taking heroin. A while later, Sonny is thrown in jail for using and selling heroin. Sonny was a good boy with a great childhood, but he turned bad when he was around others who were addicts as well. HBO says that a person's social environment and the thought of bonding is the cause of some addictions.
What are the signs of addiction? Signs of addiction can include not showing up for your usual schedule, getting arrested, not enjoying usual activities, needing more of the substance to feel good, bad relationships, and losing control over your use. An addicted person will not find pleasure in what they normally enjoy. For example, the narrator in Blessed by Donald Pollock used to steal and rob businesses. Then he got hurt and was prescribed Oxy by a doctor. From then on, the narrator was addicted to Oxy and didn't enjoy the suspense in stealing anymore. According to HBO, this action of giving up your hobbies and recreational activities in order to be on drugs is a sign of addiction.
Some people catch on that they are addicted and feel the need to stop, but just can't seem to quit. This is what happens to Nap in Drinking, a love story, as she takes a test of only drinking 3 drinks a day and fails many times. What happens is that Nap has become reliant on alcohol and has lost all control over her use. HBO says that when a person is addicted, they suffer through withdrawals and therefore drink more instead of quitting. Nap tried to stop, but the after effect of withdrawals kept coming back, forcing her to take another drink. Under the influence, people tend to hold more aggressive relationships. HBO says that the addict loses control over family values due to drug and alcohol use. This would mean that the addict doesn't care if they hurt their loved ones as long as they continue getting their desired drug. Big Blonde by Dorothy Parker explained the situation where a married couple both began to drink in hopes it will help them grow closer together. Often they find themselves leaving each other because they can't stand the other. They fought on a daily basis due to their alcohol consumption and drank more and more to try to drown out the pain. Eventually they left the other because they both wanted to continue to drink and were annoyed with the other.
What are the physical signs of addiction? Some signs include bloodshot eyes, tremors, slurred speech or impaired coordination, sudden weight loss or weight gain, unusual smells on breath, body, or clothing, deterioration of physical appearance, and changes in sleep or appetite.
When someone is addicted to a substance, they do not care about the pain that comes along with it. Often they take more drugs to escape the pain for a while. Carolyn Knapp, an alcoholic, noticed her body getting worse physically in Drinking, a Love Story, but she tried to ignore it all. She enjoyed the alcohol she was drinking so much that she no longer cared about her physical health. Addiction occurs when people continue their use and outweigh the consequences of their use, according to HBO.